Check, check, check. Why is that so weird? What is that layout? What are we doing there? What's going on, guys? Happy, what is it, Wednesday? May 6th. May the 6th be with you. That doesn't work. My name is Icy Gaming. We are back with Gaming Daily Live. I hope you're having a great day. It's a little rainy here in Boston, but you know what they say: April, May, flowers, showers, all that good stuff. I don't. I'm super excited for today's episode. My guest today. Let's hold on. Let's share the Twitter. We'll share the Twitter. We'll leave him backstage, but he is backstage coming up in just a minute. Josh Jones, the co-CEO and co-founder of Infinity Rising, the open world sandbox MMO that you probably knew as Cornucopias. That's how I knew them. Josh has spent 25 years building startups focused on taking things from zero to scale. And 4 years ago, he and his co-founders made a bet that Web3 gaming could do something that nobody had actually pulled off yet, which was build a game that was worth playing, not just an economy that's worth farming. And since then, they've undergone a rebrand, migrated their token, recently launched a Republic equity raise, which I'm super interested in diving into that. And they're pushing toward their Steam and Epic early access release. So we've got Josh here today. We'll bring him on stage in just one moment. But real quick before we do, we got to say thank you to the beautiful sponsors. Can I do it right this time? Blaze. Oh, I did it. And YGG Play. I don't know how weathermen do the thing, it's so hard. I keep getting it wrong, but Blaze is on my left and YGG Play on my right. The incredible sponsors that make this show possible. Every interview that I bring on, they're like, man, Icy, this is awesome, man. Thank you for doing free promotion and free work and giving us a platform. And I'm like, the only reason I can do that is because of Blaze and YGG Play. They are supporting the builders in Web3 gaming and the creators like myself trying to push the space forward. So we got to support the people that are supporting us. Doji in the chat. I appreciate you, man. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Yes, I am a competitive trader now. If you did not know, dude, I forget that I can click and show comments. I need to do that more, but enough of me yapping. Let's get Josh up here. Not the Twitter. Let's bring you up here. There you go, Josh. How you doing, brother? Happy Wednesday.
Same to you. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, great to see you, man. Like so many of my interviews, it's like this is such a long time overdue. So first, let me just say I'm sorry that we haven't done more public-facing content sooner. That's definitely an oversight on my behalf because I think I first saw you guys actually at a conference. I don't know if it was Rare Evo or just one of the conferences around.
Yeah. Could have been Rare Evo or Consensus. I don't know if you've been to that one.
Even were you guys at NFT NYC 1 year? Were you at NFT NYC 1 year?
No, we haven't been to that one yet.
Okay.
I've always wanted to go to that one, but it's come at odd times. But yeah, it has been a while, man. And I feel like we've gone back and forth somewhere a bit, but we just haven't had a proper sit down. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I mean, the reason why I wasn't doing interviews and stuff like that in this format. So I started it earlier this year and I'm like, man, I wish I did this, 2-3 years ago.
Dude, okay. I can't believe you haven't been seriously. Okay, so that's part of why, obviously, yeah. But I've looked at some of your content since and just seen how you've shown up just now on the show. You've got the personality, you got the vibe, man. You bring the energy. So you're articulate. You do a good job. So it's awesome.
I appreciate that. I mean, likewise, man. I mean, you guys have been running your show, Cafe Rising or Cafe Rise for years at this point. I want to talk about that at some point, but I mean, where do we even begin? We're both veterans in the space. And I guess just for anyone who, is new to Infinity Rising or, was a big fan or familiar with Cornucopias, but like myself, kind of maybe missed the original rebrand. Give us the 30-second elevator, pitch of who you are and the story behind Infinity Rising.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm Josh, co-CEO, co-founder of Infinity Rising. And it's basically a open world sandbox MMO multiverse simulator where humanity, a little bit of the lore, humanity has ascended into the clouds. There was a calamity on Earth, and they've ascended into the sky. And you could participate in by flying from dome to dome. You can participate. That's a dome right there in the background of the header image on Twitter. You fly from dome to dome and participate in these in crafting, commerce, combat, racing, all sorts of different activities, mining, exploration. So that's a little bit of what the game is. And the background on the rebrand was that, you know, we started out with a vision in 2021, and Cornucopias was the name. And Cornucopias is still a big part of it. That is the nation that is in the sky now. So I mentioned how
Mm,
he ascended into the clouds. That's the nation in the sky where you go from dome to dome. It is a nation of people. So we're all still cornucopians in the game, our community, right? But we rebranded the name of the game just to fit with the lore. So Infinity Rising, you're rising into the clouds, and there's an infinite amount of things you can participate in the sky. So that's a little bit of the tribute to the lore and an elevation, so to speak, of it also kind of goes along with the ascension of where we're at. So
mm.
we needed a rebrand because after building for 4 years, 5 years, it's like the game is now coming to a maturity point. And for us, we wanted to define that in a new way and really make it ready for mainstream and make a name that feels mainstream ready and that also encompasses the lore and the evolution of the vision that's occurred along the way.
I love that. I'd love to dig into that. We've got one of the recent trailers or kind of like promos on the screen. I mean, when I first saw Cornucopias and Infinity Rising, it's beautiful. I remember, you know, the graphics were incredible. The gameplay seemed really fun. You had this like pod racer, maybe mini game or slice that people could
Mhm.
play. I remember like Doug Hype and others getting
Yeah.
really involved, and it looked incredible. And you know, I guess like is the game currently? I know you're kind of gearing up for, you know, Steam and Epic later on. I guess like recap the past 4 years of development, because it always felt like a very ambitious endeavor. But like that's what we're here for. But I guess like how has that gone for you guys? Because I you know, forgive me, Josh, but I'm not like I was never super tuned in. And had we spoken earlier, I would have been. But like, yeah, what is like the story of the past 4 years been, and kind of where are you guys at right now?
Yeah. So, okay. Thanks. Great question. Um, So first of all, the brand change to Infinity Rising, that also goes along with some of our philosophy, and some of what you just said. It is ambitious. It's too ambitious, but it's not too ambitious because in our minds we're like, is this something we can commit to for the rest of our lives? And the answer is yes. Like we can keep building. We are going to keep building and keep adding and adding and adding and adding to this. Because for me, that's what I love to like to create, to build things. That's what I love to do. And so there's, you know, when you have a medium like, you know, one of the things that gets me the most excited about gaming is that I majored in film in college because I wanted to make movies. I wanted to produce movies, right? It has every element that you can create with. But then when you go to gaming, you have all of the elements of film and you get to add the interactivity where we are doing something together,
Mm.
which is like incredibly powerful, right? So that just gets me excited, man. It's like, you know, we get to do that for a long time together, iterate with the community and continue hearing their feedback, continue along our vision, adjusting, navigating, building, and adding more content. More specific to your question, the last 4 years has really been about let's build the team, let's build the community and create a culture inside a community that we really love. And that's something that I think that we do incredibly well, is people. So I mentioned team and community, and that's something I'm passionate about. We have a culture with our team, we have a culture with our community, and that creates a situation that can sustain us with longevity by keeping a positive culture that, you know, ideally doesn't go south and toxic and all sorts of stuff. You know, you have your moments, right? But so the last 4 years have been building the foundation with people, but also building the foundation with game systems, and a lot of work, a lot of freaking work, not just on the game side, but also on our infrastructure side, because you've got to have the right infrastructure to support what you're going to do. You've got to have the right infrastructure if you're going to be a Web3 game to support the transactional elements, which is like that's been one of the most challenging ones because there's legalities, there's all sorts of issues, there's changing regulations all along the way. And you got to be ready for all of that. So it's really been laying this foundation. And thankfully, man, we're at this place now where the foundation is laid, the game is coming to maturity, and we now have mainstream gamers coming into our community from ad funnels that are they're to the point about us having a positive community. They're getting won over by the community and the game, and they're jumping in with us. And so we're seeing something where we didn't think it was quite ready for mainstream. We're in pre-alpha, by the way, so we're not even into alpha yet. But we have mainstream gamers coming in and loving what we're doing. For the state that we're in, and for the community that we've built, and for what we have to offer right now. So it's pretty exciting, man. I guess to sum up the answer to your question, foundation. That's the last 4 years.
I love that. And congrats. I guess like, so is it true then? Cause I don't know, like, is it true that, or would it be fair to say that things are progressing according to plan? And the reason I ask that, Josh, is because so many games made very big promises, you know, were bit off more that they could chew, and you know, kind of overpromised and under delivered, and maybe missed the mark, and then had to like go back to the drawing boards. And you know, like, we were all as a space kind of like gearing up for, you know, the games to come out and launch and kind of take over, and one after one game launched, and maybe they had a little bit of success in the beginning, but you know, 6 months down the line, everything was very bleak, and not working out. And I think the past year, you know, we've seen over 60 plus game shutdowns, and it's like been this very sobering experience of like, like, you know, where were we wrong, and what do we need to work on? And so like, what is it the case for Infinity Rising that, like, you know, you guys are on track? It's a, you know, MMO, and it's a big ambitious thing that takes 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years to build. So are you guys like just been building and seeing all this kind of chaos over there and being like, whoa, like what's going on over there? We don't know. Like, we're just heads down kind of, you know, according to plan? Or has it been the case that, you know, you guys tried different things, and it didn't work and had to go back to the drawing board? I'm curious on that.
Yeah, it's a great question. So, well, that's a big question. There's so many directions I could take that. Um, You know, I definitely did not think that the bear cycle, that we would not have any sort of alt cycle at all, that the bear cycle would be as long as it was,
Yeah.
especially with the shift in U.S. policy. Didn't call that right. You know, the shift
Yeah.
in U.S. policy actually, I think, delayed the ability for the market to take off, because I think a lot of major institutions were restructuring and still are gathering their control now that they
Mhm.
know where the policy's headed. They want to keep it down, and so that they can grab a bigger piece of the pie, because you know, legacy finance is now jumping into something that before they were trying to suppress. At least
Yeah.
that's my take. I don't
Yeah.
know, but like, no, I don't think that the market reacted the way a lot of us did, and clearly a lot of people were hurt by that. And I think those are real builders out there, that a lot of them were really trying to build, and the market just didn't come along in their favor. I will say this, that the problem with the hype around Web3 gaming back then, and with the reality of what it takes to build a game, depends on the kind of game. I'm talking about the MMO kind right now, PC game.
Yeah.
The amount of work that goes into a game like that, like you said, 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
easy. In our case, we'll be building for the next 20 or 30, right? and where we're at now, thankfully, we have a game that's playable and people are enjoying. So like we want to just continue to make that better and better. Um, but did we know this was going to happen the way it did? No. And you know what? Honestly, in business, in startup especially, you got to be on your toes and you got to be able to ready to react and you got to be conservative where you can and you got to um, you know, it's funny, man. We badly want to exit badly the crypto paradigm of having a dependency on the what the crypto markets are doing because it forces you to strategize around that when that's your primary target market, right?
Mm.
Um, as we and this is our we've known this we built the entire time around bringing a game to the mainstream market because where are the gamers are the mainstream gamers. Crypto
Yeah.
is brand new, it's so
Yeah.
freaking early, so we built for mainstream because that's where the target market is. And so that's why we build with the quality that we do and it's why we put so much thought and planning and effort into every element and every part of the experience that we bring people into. Um, but yeah, man, Web3 gaming, it didn't get a proper chance in the sense that time is really needed. But I
Mhm.
think there's still a lot of people building. And I think that the amount of time needed, unfortunately, makes it harder to prove product market fit. I sure hope we're going to prove product market fit. We're getting a taste of it right now where people are coming in and they're loving what we're doing. So that has me incredibly jazzed. It has the team incredibly jazzed. But Web3 gaming is not dead. For those that think it's dead, no, 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 no. Sorry. It's a great way to get some clickbait, attention by posting something dramatic like that. And certainly many people have been hurt by the way that it went, and I'm sad about that. But the reality is that like you have, well, there you go. You just yeah, that's it. Okay, that's what I'm about to say. Look at you reading my mind. You have billions in black market and gray market trading from mainstream gamers. That is proof of demand for ownership of assets. That's what that is, for ownership and agency. And then in a very, very new industry, the secondary market trading of game assets is also in the billions. So clearly we have demand. What we don't have is product market fit yet,
Mm.
except with maybe a few small different groups. We don't have enough projects that are hitting product market fit in a way that validates the industry. Even the VCs, they're all scared at this point because it's a challenging industry. The capex is high. There's a lot of reasons that it makes it hard for a new gamer to succeed. And then also with crypto gaming, like with all the Web3 gamers that are out there, the game builders that are out there, many of those teams are brand new, new
Yeah.
to gaming, new to building, new entrepreneurs. I'm sorry, but if I set out to build a game in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, I don't have a chance. This is one of
Yeah.
the hardest things I've ever done, and it's freaking great, and I love it. But like, it's not easy. So
Yeah, yeah, no, incredibly well said. I think I agree with pretty much everything there, and I kind of
you're
just want
welcome to
to.
disagree if you want.
No, no. I mean, I'm in the space because I fundamentally agree and have the
Yeah.
same thesis. When I started making content 4 or 5 years ago, I was going on crypto stashes around the metaverse show, and we were talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, guys, like games take 5-6 years to make. Crypto is brand new. Like it took Amazon 20 years to get profitable. It took you know like Tesla driverless cars. I mean, they're still like they're here, but they're not, everywhere. And it's like new technology takes time, right? People weren't
Mhm.
I mean, Amazon going back to Amazon, people like it was a juggernaut in 2014. Like I remember how big it was, but it was nothing compared to what it is today or what it became
Yeah.
in 2020 or 2021, 2022. So I always had a 10 to 15 year outlook on the technology, on the innovation, on the adoption. And in many ways, I thought we were, there's arguments to be made that like we are ahead of schedule. Like if you were to tell me back in 2022, that in 2024, 2025, we would have like a game like Off the Grid on PlayStation 5, and Sony would have a blockchain called Sonium. I would be like, no way, like that's stuff that we dreamed of. And so a lot of things have structurally gone right for us, and a lot of progress has been made, but at the same time, like there's still so much work to be done. So I guess, Josh, like in terms of Infinity Rising and coming back to product market fit, and how you guys are going to go to market, and like because people talk about, and this is I fully recognize that this is very much the crypto Twitter bubble. There's like 15 of us that will tweet, and they'll say like, oh, there's seven shots left on goal, right? And Infinity Rising is not one that gets mentioned in that list, and I don't know why, because I think that teams like yourself who have been here deserve more of that recognition, and that's why I've been doing more of the content that I've been doing. But I want to put that question to you, like, what gives you the confidence that Infinity Rising is going to be successful in the wake of all of the carnage and closures that we've seen, and all of the problems and the headwinds that we've seen with crypto gaming? Like, where do you guys think that you're doing it right, and are going to be one of the ones that shows what the space can do?
It's a great question, as most of your questions have been. It's a big question too.
Yeah.
So, okay, first, yeah, we haven't been mentioned in some of the tweets going around. Like, is that um, and I would say that intentionally we haven't really gone to scale with marketing yet. We probably could have gone to scale more with the crypto side, Web3 marketing, but the reality is we've been fighting through a bear cycle for 3 years, and we got to build a product. And so,
Yeah.
in my eyes as a CEO, it's like, okay, am I going to give marketing a big budget right now when we've got a product that doesn't quite feel ready and there's a long way to go? You go. So, but now things are changing, and so that's part of the reason for the Republic raise, et cetera, and a lot of what we're doing now. But we'll get into that when we get into it. What gives me the confidence that we can do this? Well, none of us are stopping, man. Like, number one, right now, like I already said, mainstream gamers are coming in, but there's nothing going to stop us from building at this point. The game is at a place where people are loving it, so we're going to figure it out. We've been operating about as lean as you can operate, and for a team of 33 to be building AAA quality content, like on the stage of the 30 billion in annual revenue that AAA quality or that MMO games bring on a yearly basis. We're about to be competing with far fewer than 50 of those that are AAA quality MMO games that are out there and live. Like, that's remarkable, because those games are freaking 20, 30x our size with, way more the budget. But guess what? We're operating lean. We get to grow, and we don't have to do this super hype up the launch thing and then have this kind of activity where you restructure your servers and then there's a player drop off. We get to have a steady, slow build if we want to, or we might go more aggressive depending upon the feedback and where the game's at. We'll go. I will go as aggressive as I can with the marketing as we have the funds and as we have the customer feedback saying, yeah, this is killer. Like, so in my mind, there is no failure. We just build. There's too much in it at this point. You don't let go when you get to the point that we've been building for 5 years and we have people coming over and loving the game. Like, there's no stopping. You know what I mean?
I love that, man. I love the passion. I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'd love to talk more about the Republic equity raise just in a second here. I've got it pulled up, but I guess, can you give me a sense of, because I always really try and understand, the studio and the scale and the scope. And so, like, did you guys raise money? Like, how is the funding and the runway looking? How big is the team? Kind of what does that situation look like? Whatever you're comfortable sharing, and if you can't share
Sure.
certain details, that's perfectly fine as well. But it's always like helpful to get a sense of where those things are at.
So our funding all along the way has been thankful to our community who's participated in game asset sales. We haven't had a traditional VC round, so in terms of runway, we always try to size the team to the opportunity, right? And that's how you stay in business.
Yeah,
So the reason for the Republic round is we're in this position now where most likely in 4 months. I hate saying the date, but
yeah.
and there's people on our team that have said 2 months, right? But most likely we are ready to start marketing an alpha release, moving from pre-alpha to alpha in a short amount of time. And to me, what that means is it's time to get some marketing, ramp up marketing, and start going to scale with marketing to get the players in. Which we're starting right now. So we just recently released Infinity Wallet, which is designed to be, it's created for you automatically when you go to our website and create an account,
Mhm.
infinityrising.com. You create an account, you're automatically created a wallet that enables you to buy assets, crypto assets, player-owned assets in the game. Um, so incredibly seamless because you can also use your credit card to buy those assets. So a mainstream gamer coming in doesn't have to go learn the seed phrase BS and all of that stuff that we have to try to teach our friends how to do in crypto. And it takes freaking 2 hours because you want to make sure they don't lose their funds or their seed phrase. And you got to train them on
Brutal.
all. We don't have to mess with all that anymore. We bring people into the game. You got a wallet, you got a credit card, you can figure it out, right?
Mhm.
So that's a big deal. The reason I mentioned that is because we've got a little over almost 6,000 people that have signed up for early access boarding
Mm.
pass to the game. Because currently the game is gated. You either have an NFT or a player-owned asset that gets you into the game, or you sign up for the boarding pass, and we'll email you one when we start onboarding people. So those 6,000, we're about to start opening the doors now that the wallet is created. We're actually just waiting for our next build to come out, which is a huge new build. I mean, it's huge. Like it almost gets us to that state of where I would say that we're with alpha quality content. But there's one more build after that I really want to get out before I say that. But the next build is huge and there's some amazing stuff coming. We've scaled our questing system to over 100 quests, I think. Crafting, we've got over 300 recipes in crafting, and that's a new system. And we've got the apartment builder. This is the biggest part where you get to create and build out your own apartment with hundreds and hundreds of assets with the ability to change the color. So the variables are in the millions, right? We've built one of the best apartment builders, like home builders that, there's a lot of games that build only that. That's their whole concept. And we have that coming as just one element where you create your space in our world. We're like a lot of our thesis is we're a digital sense of life where you get to create this new digital life and participate in this economy in a very diverse way, right? So it's cool if you're going to build out your own avatar. You also want to build out your own space in our world. Anyway, I've derailed from the question a little bit, but um, to bring it back together, we're in a great spot. We're preparing for the alpha launch. So the Republic raise is really very much around let's get as much as we can in the door so that we can have a solid launch and some marketing funds to really go to scale.
Yeah, I want to dig into that a little bit more in a minute. But so you guys never raised money from a VC; it was all community based. And have you guys like been self funding it? I mean, how is that? How big is the team? Because if that's the case, then that's really remarkable and incredible. Because the more I continue to talk to founders, and it just seems like the ones that raised VC funding were the ones that had to launch a token at the wrong time and had to make certain moves for whatever obligations that they had, and were the ones that it didn't work out and had to shut down. And I've had other builders on where they didn't have that obligation. They didn't have that hanging over them, and they've had far more flexibility and time and just been able to like do what they wanted to do. They didn't have to build an L3 to like, do this and do that. So, I mean, I wasn't aware of that, but I'm curious, like, what does that financial picture look like? I mean, you guys must have sold a ton of stuff to be able to be funding this, purely from the community.
I think over 5 years, we're in the realm of 17 million on the, player-owned asset side.
That's amazing.
Um, and yeah, but that's a a fourth of what you need at minimum to build an
Yeah,
MMO game.
sure. Yeah.
So, what we've done we've been incredibly efficient, and we have a really solid team that is very passionate, but we're too small for what we're doing. But like I said, you size the team to the
Yeah.
opportunity so that you have the longevity that you need. Um, and and then you continue to fight, and you fight, and you fight, and you fight. I mean, that's the most important thing, right? And you build a culture of team of people. Like, one of the things that I think that matters to me the most is how you treat people, not just your team, but your community.
Mhm.
uh, because what's the point? Like, I've been at a job where I've made tons of money, way more money, right? And I've been miserable. Like, if you're not going to enjoy the people that you're working with and the people that you're in community with, what's the point? Especially if you're building a game, right? So we've really tried to cultivate a culture of trust, transparency, and sharing with people along the way. I think we have, I mean, my opinion, I guess I'm a little bit biased, but we got the best community in crypto. Like, just go join. They're amazing. They welcome people in, and we treat people well, and that matters, man. It matters a lot. Um,
It
so
no, it certainly does, and I have so much reverence for the builders or the founders who are building in public. And I've seen you guys do, the Copy Cafe and now the Cafe Rise. I mean, that's like a weekly show that you've been doing
a
for how
lot
long
less
now?
lately because we've been so immersed. But yeah, it
Sure,
was weekly. We were really good about that for a while. But man, there's so much happening now. It's become harder and harder to pull off.
that's
Um,
fair.
but we try to do it as often as we can, and so because and the exact reason for that was, hey, we need to be regularly telling our community what we're doing and where
Yeah.
we're at and how it's going, and that's our means of staying accountable. It's our means of showing them that we care. It's our means of building trust and relationship, and obviously it's a little fun too. So
Again, massive respect, man, because it's so not easy. It's so difficult to do that. And there's it's a rare breed of crypto game founder who is responsibly managing the development of the game, the funding of the studio, the runway, the team, the community, active on Twitter, showing up in person to events, hosting, frequent check-ins, town halls, AMAs, whatever it be. And then just navigating such a chaotic space. So really kudos and well done on that regard. I just going back to the community aspect. I mean, you guys are on Cardano. We're a big game in that ecosystem. Did you find that community really showed up to support you guys and push you guys forward? Were you a part of Cardano before,
mhm.
building a game? Like, is that like what went
Yeah,
into that decision? Because I think the new token launched maybe like multi-chain. It's on base now, so
yeah.
I'm a little curious about like that, that decision and the strategy behind that. But yeah, just would love to hear a little bit more about the Cardano relationship.
Yeah, so that's actually how I met Rob, who's the co-CEO and co-founder as well. We have four co-founders: Rob, Ant, myself, and Jeff. Rob and I met back in 2021 because of Cardano, and we are heavily involved in that community. And you asked if our community, like if they, they're the primary community that supported us. Yes, but we launched our token on BSC
Mm,
originally. And we
wow.
added Cardano when it was more ready. Like Cardano was a very early stage when we launched.
Yeah.
There were not any DApps yet because the smart contract functionality was just coming out at that
Yeah.
point. But the community, honestly, I don't think we would have done as well launching in another community without knowing the right people. And I think Cardano had some early stage influencers and supporters that really liked what we were doing. And so we got a good amount of coverage. And so we were well known in a smaller pond really
Mm,
quickly. And I think
yeah.
that helped quite a bit. Um, because once you're in a bigger pond, like an Ethereum based kind of scenario, um, those influencers, they're asking for real dollars when you go, and we didn't start with a lot of real dollars. So we bootstrapped this thing from the ground up, and uh, you know um, getting the right exposure on Ethereum might have been challenging. But that said, why multiple chains? Because we do believe in the cross chain kind of approach.
Mhm.
Um, and interoperability. But I will say this: at this point, it becomes less and less relevant what the chain is because
Yeah.
we're really going after the mainstream gamer at this point. And
Yeah.
they don't
Which
care. They just get a seamless experience. They don't care what chain you're on. They want to be able to play the game and have fun.
yeah, 100%. Is there a reason why you guys never took any VC funding? Were there
Yeah,
offers? Like, what was there conversation around that? Talk to me about that.
honestly, man, like it's been an interesting journey there. So we took a little bit of VC funding in the beginning, but it wasn't, we weren't quite ready to get a real VC looking at us.
Mhm.
And by the time that we really started going after VC more aggressively, um, our valuation had kind of exceeded the sweet spot
Mm,
because what they want is in a seed stage, they want the lower valuation
right.
because you don't have the product market fit yet.
Yeah.
And they want a higher amount of equity for their so we ended up in between sweet spots basically
Mm,
where the valuation what we believe we're worth is more than what they're ready to pay because they need to see actual mainstream gamers coming in and customer acquisition cost and what's your
yeah.
funnel, what's the growth looking like. Well, meanwhile during all of this, like with crypto, the numbers are going down with everybody because of what's happening with crypto. So we got a story that's working against us for traditional VC, and that's the same story for every Web3 game for the most part, unless you've
Yeah.
got the like some friend in the industry. Yeah, we actually had quite a few friends connecting us with VC groups, and we had some. I've been building relationships. So I basically told you that we missed the sweet spot, right?
Mhm.
And then with what's happening in crypto market, everybody's like all the VCs are backing off really from gaming for the most part right now, um,
Yeah.
until there's some real proof. But what I want everyone to know here is that we're now planning. So with this Republic round, um, and with our alpha launch, that should start to funnel in some legit mainstream gamers, and we should be able to start proving daily active users, customer acquisition cost, and some of the things that these VCs want to see, so that tease us up for a Series A round later this year and possibly early 2027. So I've been building relationships with VC where they're going, yeah, tell us when you start to have that picture coming
Mm,
together, because that's what they're looking for. They want to see a project that's got a growth curve going, that's got
yeah.
like proof of product market fit, all that good stuff.
Very cool. Again, I feel like you're in like privileged, rarefied air to be able to have this flexibility, to have the funding and runway, to have the I don't want to say comfort of time because I know you guys are working incredibly hard and that, I'm sure game development. I mean, it's amazing and fun, but it's also like, the hardest thing ever as well. And I'm sure there's stress and challenges, but it seems like that's like what you were, signed up for and wanted, and like what else is there, which is again really cool. It's a dream situation. So congrats. I think It's very exciting and
Thank
just a
you.
cool spot to be. Let's talk about the public equity raise. So you mentioned it a little bit earlier. The idea is get a little bit more money in, ramp up the marketing, pour a little gas onto the fire that you guys have. Um, Tell me about Republic. It's that, this kind of public, very big platform where outside investors can come in and invest in something like this. They're investing in equity in the studio. Do you have targets that you're trying to raise? Like, there's a little bit of detail here,
Mhm.
but I don't know if it goes too much into it. And so, whatever you're comfortable sharing around this, because this just went live a few days ago.
Yeah, so,
So how
I
long
mean, I
is it
think
going to go and all that?
we've got room for, like, I I don't know the exact room right now. No, it's not live, just so you know.
Okay,
We announced that it's coming very soon,
got
but
it.
it's not live yet. Will be very soon. Um, we've gotta give some final numbers on the seed round, adjust that because we're wrapping up a seed round right now, and then
Mhm.
so we're moving into this crowd round. The first 250K in the door from this, come at a discounted valuation, 15,000,000. So there is some good urgency there. If you're in the US, you do have to be accredited to participate. Anywhere else, I think you're pretty much safe. Um, but Republic's just a It's a crowdfunding platform. They have
Yep.
all sorts of deals up there. You can go to the website, log in, create an account, go through the process of setting up, and get ready for that. But yeah, there's room for, I think, maybe 1,500,000 on it. But honestly, their raises, they don't all come in at that. Like, a lot of the raises come in at a smaller amount, so it just kind of depends.
Mhm.
But we've got that kind of room for it. We just want to get as much as we can in the door, so that ideally, we're sitting on a good marketing budget for the alpha
Very
marketing.
cool. Very cool. Yeah, and so the target for is kind of towards the end of the year. You're in pre-alpha now. When are you thinking about an alpha? I mean, I guess like talk to me a little bit about that, and then assuming however much you guys are able to crowdfund. How are you thinking about go to market strategies? You know, in this day and age, is it TikTok? Is it influencers? What do you think? And I'm sure it's maybe there's a lot of ideas on the board. Maybe it's not all fleshed out yet, but I guess like how are you guys looking at the landscape of go to market and driving that traction? Players coming in and keeping retention and like what that first Fatui first time user experience is going to be for them to be like, whoa, this is amazing. I want to spend money in buying assets and items, and I'm going to keep playing this game. This is incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, you said later this year. I'm hoping it's not later this year. I'm hoping it's more like 4 months. But it's hard for me to say that that is what it's going to be, because this is game dev and there's so many complexities that come in, especially when you're ready to launch a new build. We do new build releases, every couple of months or whatever, and each one it takes its toll on the team, man, because it's blood, sweat, and tears when it's build release time, and and there's so much complexity that comes into play. So it really is very. It's not like software dev that's very. It's a lot more linear, controlled, et cetera. I mean, there are just so many moving parts. That, by the way, just so you know, is a huge reason that AI is not going to take. Like, we're not going to have games just getting built, like MMO games getting built by AI anytime soon, because there are way too many human touch points and too much complexity, where humans are required to come together with all these systems. Now, you can use it to optimize code and help you a little bit, but there's way too much complexity, which is a good thing for us. It's a moat. Um,
Mhm.
but that Now I lost my train of thought. So
Just
in four
yeah, the
months,
game
the
launch and
ideal is that
plan.
we scale marketing. Um, in two ways. You said what's your go to market? So right now we're
Mhm,
starting to scale marketing. So we've been testing ad funnels. You
mhm.
test ad funnels by trying different variables, different channels, different target markets, seeing which copy works. You modify, you refine, you ramp it up. The ones that are performing well, you ramp it up a little bit more. That's what we're working on. So we're testing that thing. So paid ad campaigns, banner ads, things like that. All of that, we'll get into that. But like, really, what I'm most excited about, Matt and I are doing a content creator and influencer campaign.
Mm,
We've already scraped over 1,700 gaming streamers and influencers, and we'll be reaching out to them. We have already started via email, and we've had several responses. We're getting a pretty good response rate on that. It's about 20% right now. Then we get in a conversation with them. We start setting up meetings to where we have this exact information. We want to know what their pricing is and how to kick things off.
yep.
Um, and so then we have a list of this many followers, this is their pricing, and this is
Mhm,
what we do. So that if I come to Matt and I say, hey, we've got 250K for marketing over the next 2 months, give me a proposal. Then he can literally go to his spreadsheet
yep.
and tell me how much the reach is going to be. And I'll go, okay, or let's increase the reach, decrease the reach, whatever. And so um, that's the plan. I mean, that's the marketing that works on the gaming side, really. And then, of course, strategic partnerships and things of that nature will really get more aggressive with. Like, for example, we there's a gaming group called Regiment Gaming. It's got over 100,000 veterans. We've
Yeah,
just had several come from their community join us, and they're freaking great. They're awesome
yeah.
people. And I've talked to that team, and we're doing a deal with them. They're going to announce us pretty soon, where we're creating them a game, an in-game asset that's branded with the regiment logo, and we're gonna invite their players into our community that way. So it's pretty cool. We'll do stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That all makes sense. It all sounds so easy, Josh. It all sounds so easy, and I'm like, where has
No,
Web
none
three
of this is
gaming?
easy. There's, I mean, it might sound that way, but no, it's been
Yeah,
brutal.
which is fair. Which is fair. But so many, and I can appreciate and respect that. I guess like for me, even hearing that you're testing different ad funnels and whatnot, I feel like so many of the crypto games that launched, they barely got to that point, and the ones that did, it never seemed like they could get very far with it. And I don't know where that went wrong. I was talking with Matthew Buxton recently on the show, who is, building Warp Chain and Warp as a game publishing platform, and he has so much experience with scaling up successful games, because once the formula and model is proven, the math just scales. I get the sense, Josh, that you have the business acumen, experience, and expertise to make this work. The team, it seems like the right pieces, the foundation, like you said at the beginning of the call, is in place. And you know I feel like so much of that is what was missing for so many of these other games and game teams. And I don't want to ask you to speak on that behalf, but I guess I am curious, Josh, how has it been for you building in the space and seeing the industry go through this bear market, go through all of this chaos, um games after game after game kind of shut down and struggle? Are you looking at this stuff? Do you pay much attention to it? And are you looking at this stuff like,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
it's
that was
brutal,
never
dude.
going to work, I don't know what you guys were doing? Or like, was there anything that surprised you of like, wow, I can't believe that team struggled and I didn't see that coming? And I mean, yeah, just curious, like what it's been like as a builder from your perspective, just seeing everything that's transpired over the past few years.
Yeah, there were quite a few surprises, and I don't want to name anybody in particular, but there were quite a few where I'm like, oh man, that's a bummer. Um, and it's sad to see. And how has it been for me? Man, like, so on one side, I love what we're doing and I love our vision, and that is enough, right? But then you've got the crypto side where the entire market's just been going like this for the last 3 years, and your whole team and your community and everybody's just watching it do this for 3 years, it wears on people because a lot of people put a lot of hope in that,
Yeah.
myself included. I thought the bull cycle, I thought we would, strategically, it's like, okay, we've got to make this, we got to get here by then we're positioned well for the alt cycle, alt season,
Right.
and all of these things, and then it doesn't happen the way you think, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, back to the drawing board, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's tough, man. It's tough on the team. It's tough on the culture. It's tough on your heart. It's tough on the community. It's obviously tough on all those people that had to shut the doors. I mean, that's never a conversation anybody wants to have. Um, so, it's brutal, but the reality is, if the market doesn't support, I mean, part of me thinks this is a good thing in some ways, and I don't mean anybody folding down or that sort of thing. I just mean that, like, the market is going to weed out some of
Yeah.
the noise, right? And what remains, the people that are fighting blood, sweat, and tears remains. It's kind of like the internet bubble. After the internet bubble popped, bunch of people bailed, they got out, the internet bubble popped, but who emerged from that? Some
Yeah.
titans, some titans like Amazon and Google and Netflix and like all of these, giant groups now, that emerged out of the internet bubble. Well, I think that's kind of where we're at. It's like we weeded out a lot of the meme insanity, and I have nothing against memes because they build communities and cultures and stuff like that. But like there was a meme frenzy that got a little manic for a
Yeah.
while, right? Um,
Yeah.
and like what I'm saying is that we've weeded out some stuff that it's like we're down to the core of utility, who's building, and are they creating an experience that people need and want. Now, the ones that figure that out and emerge through that, I think we're about to see the most insane, crypto cycle ever. Eventually, I don't know when, but it doesn't matter. We're building for, mainstream gamers anyway, so we hopefully exit that paradigm. But I think we're moving into some good stuff. As long as you keep your eye on the prize, which is okay. If you're a Web3 game or you're a game, what are you doing? Are you creating an experience that people love? See, our philosophy was, while we don't have a game, we better have a fun community, at least in our
Mhm.
Discord, right? And we do now, and we still do, and now we have a fun game with it, and so we're putting together the whole package. But yeah, it's a good question, man. You asked some great questions. I'm glad I had my coffee.
I appreciate that, John. We do like 3-4 interviews a week. So, and I've just been on this mission to kind of document, the state of the industry, but also try and, I'm fortunate to be able to talk to someone like you who's been in it and lived it for 4 years, and it's not hard to kind of talk about what you've learned and what you've been through and the experience and where it's going and stuff. So with that, Josh, like two more questions just about the game, and you've been really generous with your time. Um, what do you love the most about Infinity Rising? Like, what is it about the gameplay or like this mechanic or this world and like how the lore is tying into, like, if someone were to see a quick clip of this, like what would draw them in to want to play the game? What are they gonna discover, or what is it that you love that you're like, man, like this is just so fun and so cool, and like this is what makes me want to play the game all the time?
Man, I think a lot of that is, well, I love to get in there and go around, shoot people and have like that sort of PPV type of experience, but like PvP type experience. But like for me, it's almost at the place where you go in and you get to choose your own adventure, so to
Mm,
speak. You can explore, you can craft, you can participate in the commerce, you can race, combat. So the variety element, where you build and participate in the economy, in that way, is very attractive. But also, I love the idea of getting in and building out my own space, and that's coming
mm,
very very soon. So you get to create your own avatar and who you want to be in this world, and then from there you go into creating everybody gets a free apartment, or you can buy a larger size, um, and that's coming very, very soon. That's in our next build. So where you get to create your own space in the world. And then after you've created your own space in the world and your own avatar, then you get to go participate in the economy and influence the world. And eventually we're working on a community framework now where you'll get to participate in governance, directing the future of the game, and governance even over the towns and districts and cities. Inside the dome. So all of that like really comes together where the community, we together are influencing the direction of where this thing goes. That sums it up for me. Like what do I love most about all of it? It's the what we participate in together and how we carve out this experience and have fun doing it.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I think that really comes across in the graphics and the aesthetic and the world building. It's very clear that a lot of love and passion and also like fun and personality was put into the design, the graphics, the aesthetic. It's always felt very unique, very polished, very beautiful, very expansive. So that's really cool to hear. Where do you see Infinity Rising 5 years from now? You know, what does success look like? What is like the dream come true scenario for the game, for the studio, for the community? What does that kind of look like?
5 years from now, we have the community filling up the land in all of the domes. We have 12 different themed zones in 5 years, which in the we have custom domes coming into play, which is where the community actually gets to take their player-owned asset of a custom dome and build it out and create a gaming experience for somebody else to play. And so that's been something that our community is very excited about. So we'll have that at that point. So you're creating your own gaming experiences. Influencers like yourself at that point, you could go to your community and say, hey, I got a custom dome in Infinity Rising, and I've created a PvP battlefield. We're going to do a contest, and it's $5 to enter, and then the prizes are blah blah blah. Right? You could do something like that in five. Right? You know, hopefully sooner than 5 years. But I'm trying to give you the 5-year picture. What else?
Yeah.
We're doing real world partnerships. So like in 5 years, you know, if we've built out 12 different theme zones, what does that mean? Well, that means that we have probably the largest potential fishing game in the world that's ever been built, because of all of these domes. They have their own water supplies, bodies of water, lakes, oceans, rivers, all that stuff. And if that's the case, we could literally have the largest fishing game in the world. Well, if we have that, then why wouldn't we have a large partnership with a fishing, you know, company like Orvis, or, you know, some of the larger fishing groups? So we bridge the real world with the digital world in a way that creates value for both different communities. We can do exciting stuff like that. And that's more of the metaverse type play. So you start creating this economy that bridges the digital with the physical in unique ways that combine communities and adds and enhances value. So that's like a flywheel type of effect where our community really starts to grow exponentially. But yeah, that's 5 years from now. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of fighting, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears between now and then.
I love it, Josh. I appreciate that. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. What I love about the space and what I get to do is talking to indie game developers like yourself. And it's like, we all have this cool vision, this cool dream to make something and to give people an experience, to bring people into a world. And I just think it's the coolest thing ever. Where can people, like, if someone were wanting to get involved right now, is it join the Discord? Do you have, like, what's next? What's coming next for Infinity Rising? Is there a Cafe Rise coming up? Is it just interact on Twitter, kind of stay in the loop, you know, some pre-alpha stuff coming soon?
Definitely come join us on Twitter. And that's Infinity Rising X is our Twitter. And then our website's infinityrising.com. And then on our Twitter, we also have the link tree, which will give you our Discord channel. and all of that. But I think that's just Infinity Rising, actually. But yeah, just go to our official Twitter and click on the link tree there. And yeah, Infinity Rising X, and you'll find very easily from the link tree a way to join our Discord. Come join our community. We'd love to have you. It's a friendly space. We have a lot of fun in there, and it's an active community. We try to keep the bots out and the scammers out. We're really careful about that, but for the most part, the people are a ton of fun, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people from the community jump in and join the chat. So I haven't been
Pass Pro
super
Shop.
active with the
Somebody said
chat,
Pass Pro Shops. Yeah, sure.
but
Sorry.
but I appreciate all you guys hanging out. It's a pleasure to connect with y'all, to be able to host Josh and the game and the community here. I think yeah, I mean, one of the markers for a studio and a game that I always look at is the community, especially how they treat the community. And I mean, 10 out of 10 if I was giving you a rating. Josh, you guys have been absolutely incredible. It's not
Awesome, man.
easy.
Thank you.
It's not easy, like, the ups and the downs. And a lot of founders behind the scenes like will lament their communities and say things, and people aren't active. And I think the fact that you've always been you and have had this approach just speaks volumes. And really, I wish you guys nothing but the best, man. Want to keep supporting you guys however I can. You guys are awesome, and thank you for sharing and putting my platform in front of your community as well. So yeah, we got to have you back on. I wish you the best of luck with the raise. Gaming Daily, we try and run the Twitter, so if there's any news and stuff that you want, we can feature for you, just let me know.
Awesome.
This has been awesome, man. I think you answered everything that I had. So maybe
Thank you.
next time,
Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad some of our community showed up. You guys give IC Gaming and Gaming Daily a follow. Dude, seriously, you're good. You, I'm serious, man. You keep building, and you're gonna build you're building a brand, and it's gonna work for you. So keep it up, man.
Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Though, listen, validation is all that I've got left these days, so I
Hey,
will take
well,
all that I can get. Amazing, Josh. Any future events in the near short term? Are you guys going to be
dude, we
anywhere?
got a build coming. That build is coming very, very soon. I
Uh-huh.
sure hope. We're
Uh-huh.
working through some issues, but yeah, the next build is the big event that we have on the way.
Okay. Any IRL conferences or anything like that,
No,
or just
no
heads down
conferences
building?
anytime soon. We are in grind mode, man. We want to get these next two builds out, so we're heads down, very focused, and then on the marketing side, scaling up marketing as we
I
go.
love it.
So
I love it. Well, on that note, we will let you get back to building, Josh. Thank you so much for your time, man. We'll drop you from the stream here, and
thank
we'll
you,
talk
dude.
soon.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Bye bye.
All right, guys. That was Josh. That was Infinity Rising. That was incredible. Shout out to the community. Gift of Wings, Corn Sullied, Koi Bacon, DC Hughes, Alex, Icy Guild incoming. We might have to do something, brother. Might have to do something. Massive respect to Josh and the studio and the game. Like I said previously, I wish that I was doing these type of interviews and things sooner, because it's been amazing connecting with so many of the teams and the games. And I think that like Infinity Rising is a hidden gem, a diamond amongst the rough, whatever the phrase is, because game's gorgeous. And genuinely, I've seen Josh and the team build for years and years and years, and they've always been who they are. So it's no surprise to me that you guys, the community is amazing, and really excited. Really excited, guys. Go support the raise if you can do that thing. And I'm excited for that next build. I definitely want to jump in. I remember my friends playing the game, racing the pods, and being involved. So really, really cool there. Thank you guys for being amazing. My name is Icy Gaming. This has been Gaming Daily Live. If you're new here, and I know many of you guys are, so let me just share real quick a little bit about what we do. I do a daily show, or We do a 3 times a week show. This is Gaming Daily Live, 5 p.m. EST. I try and bring on indie game developers, crypto gaming projects, and just talk, give them a platform, find out more about their story, what they're working on, what's coming next. So on Monday, we had Ross from Corpo World. Tuesday, we had Fernando from Bloomverse. Of course, today we had Josh. Tomorrow, we've got AZ from Ave Forge. I'm really looking forward to that. And then on Friday, we've got our Waifu Sweeper game night. That's going to be at 12 p.m. EST. We've got $150 up for grabs in a prize pool that we'll be giving away in our Discord. If you need any of that, you can go to Gaming Daily X. Just like Infinity Rising X, we put the X on the end to get the Twitter handle. Guys, I'm a crypto gaming content creator. I make this content, try and push the space forward, trying to build in public, do what I can to support the people. I champion the space because we believe in the future of crypto gaming, of these projects, of these builders, these founders. Gaming can make a positive change in the world. Twitter account in a dream, game studio in a dream. You guys have been super awesome. I'm very accessible if you guys ever want to reach out. I really appreciate, you guys giving me a lot of love and support. Big shout out to CG on the Blaze stream with the 7 votes. I appreciate that. That's incredible. Big shout out to the partners that make this show possible. We're streaming on Blaze, and YGG Play is the game developer, publisher behind Waifu Sweeper, Giga Chad Bat, Lowland, some super, super fun games that we host game nights for. They enable me to pay my rent and to buy my girlfriend sushi, which, it's play video games, pay rent, buy the girlfriend sushi. That's the mission, and the mission continues. But guys, I'm going to head out now. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow with that interview. So if you like this, tune back in tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Icy Gaming. This was Gaming Daily Live. We'll see you tomorrow. And until then, stay humble, keep gaming, keep dreaming, and we'll see you guys then.